Hey there, it's Kristi from the Chadd Kristi Morning Show. I'm here with Jim, who is the man behind the plan at Busch Gardens when it comes to all things culinary. He leads the culinary team, and so he's a huge part of coming up with all the amazing, tasty treats that we get to experience during Busch Gardens festivals. Of course, we know they have food and wine, and this year, the return of the new Bier Fest.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming to be with me today.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and we're going to make a salad, if that's okay. Which sounds kind of silly. We're talking about Bier Fest, but let me explain that.
Okay, tell me, how did you come up with the idea to do something like this?
Sure, so when you think Bier Fest, you're thinking pretzel sticks and bacon, beer cheese dips, and bratwurst sandwiches. But there's also a really great hyper season going on right now for tomatoes and watermelon, especially in this area. So we have some of the best watermelon in Florida, maybe heirloom tomatoes, and so we want to do a seasonally inspired cabinet, which is really exciting.
Well, and I have to tell you, I sampled some of your other tasty treats when we were at Bier Fest this past weekend. This is one that I missed, and I was totally bummed. So when you all told us you were going to come in and I found out this is what we were going to get to make, I was super, super excited because it is nice and fresh. And also, for those of us who maybe aren't as culinarily inclined, if that's even a word, something that we can all try our hand at and probably have an easy time making.
And that's why hyper seasonal food is really the best, because the flavors speak for themselves. Just a little bit of ingredients, and you get such a wow when you taste it.
All right, so
I'm going to put this to the test. All right, so we're going to do 2 spoonfuls of the diced watermelon in our bowl here.
And if I were at home, I would probably do 3 because I absolutely love watermelon, especially when it's fresh and in season.
Well, that's the joy. We can do 3 if you like. And now we're going to do 2 spoonfuls of the baby heirloom tomatoes.
And what is it about heirloom tomatoes? There's something about the texture compared to a lot of other different types of tomatoes that just makes them so special.
I'm glad you asked that, because heirloom tomatoes are an open pollinated seed, and they date back, they could be 100 to 125 years old. And so what's really great about them, as opposed to today's commercial tomato, is that they don't absorb a lot of the flavors. So you would store these out of the cooler. And what's really great is when you bite into it, you have that grassy, herbaceous, kind of sexy tomato taste, which you don't necessarily get with tomatoes that you can buy at the grocery store. So thanks for asking.
The texture is just so amazing. Some tomatoes can be kind of grainy, but you don't
that spongy
get that.
texture is what you're thinking. So that's just the process of crossbreeding the tomatoes, where this is one breed and open pollinated. So it's really, I'm glad you picked up on that.
Thanks. Okay, so what's next?
Next, I could go talk about that forever. So next we're gonna do 1 spoonful of the feta cheese. Now what's really cool about the feta, it has a salty, kind of briny, creamy flavor to it. And so if you think about tomatoes, right, and you mentioned texture as well, so you want a little bit of that saltier brininess to really complement the flavors of the tomatoes. From there, we've got a lemon vinaigrette, so we're just gonna mix that up. And now lemon is perfect for watermelon. If you think about, if you've ever made a watermelon cocktail, for instance, and you're like, what am I missing, and then you put lemon vodka or something, and then boom, you taste the watermelon. So that's really the secret behind watermelon, is a little bit of lemon citrus.
All right.
Then just drizzle that right over, just enough to coat it. Beautiful. Perfect. And then we're just gonna do a pinch of kosher salt and just broadcast season, I should say.
I grew up in the South. My grandmother salted pretty much everything, but particularly watermelon and cantaloupe. We do not go anywhere with watermelon and cantaloupe without a salt shaker.
Yes, and again, you're concentrating the flavors. You're not tasting salt, you're really concentrating the natural flavors. So we're gonna go ahead and mix that, and we'll use this spoon over here.
Right.
No worries. You know what we'll do too, as a little added bonus, we'll put a little bit of this micro cilantro in now. Usually we top it, but I think this is going to look really pretty.
Now, what is the difference between micro cilantro and regular cilantro?
So micro cilantro is really, it's really a concentrate. When you eat that, you're going to have such a super in-your-face cilantro, but you're going to have a touch of mint as well, and so and a little bit of basil. So if you think about tomatoes, right, you're thinking about basil, right?
Right.
You're thinking watermelon, maybe a little mint. Maybe a little cilantro, again, that limey, citrusy flavor. And so this is a really unique microgreen is what it's called. And they're grown, a lot of great growers in the area that grow these.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and spoon these into the bowls. There you go.
Get a red tomato.
Oh yeah, it's all about the color too.
Balance it. Lovely piece of feta. Florida.
Oh, yes.
There's never enough cheese.
That's right. And then after that, we're just gonna top it with a little bit of micro cilantro.
Piece of feta.
Is that it for you? You can- There you go.
Delightful. So grab that extra piece.
I think that this salad just screams summer.
It absolutely does scream summer, and one of the benefits of living in Florida and dealing with the ridiculous heat is we do get to experience summer for a lot longer, so this can be on the menu for a few more months, if not even just year-round.
Now you're talking. So that's it, our
Sounds
heirloom
like it.
tomato and watermelon salad.
Beautiful. And you can experience all of these delicious, tasty treats. This is just literally the tip of the iceberg as far as the food offerings. We talked about having fresh options. There are some vegetarian options.
Sure. So we have a plant-based slider, in fact, which is called the Impossible Slider. Which, if you were to look online, that's kind of blown up. It's a huge, great experience, and it's something that guests really don't have the opportunity to try in a lot of places. So we're excited about it.
And some really savory flavors too. We had the schnitzel.
Yes.
This past weekend, we also had the curry.
Currywurst.
The currywurst.
Currywurst,
And
yes.
what I love is the cabin is called the best of the worst, and it was really delicious. The curry, they found a way to get the exact deliciousness of the curry. If you like super spicy food, it's gonna satisfy you. If you're not one that really likes spicy, but you like that savory flavor of curry, it's not gonna be spicy for you. So it's just really the best of all worlds.
And that's one of those authentic German-style foods that we brought over for Beer Fest, right? And so we have a lot of foods from Old World traditional Beer Fest, and then a lot of foods from right here in Tampa. So it's
And-
really cool in St. Pete.
Not to mention all of the craft beer, because there are beers from all around the world as well as here, local brews, so many to choose from to enjoy that pair so nicely with all of the different foods that are featured.
Yeah, the culture of craft beer in this area is just, it just screams, fun, right?
Yep,
And
absolutely.
so we really wanted to feature as many local breweries as we possibly could. We thought it was really great to kind of show off for those coming into the park that might not be from the area.
So don't miss out on it. It's Beer Fest at Busch Gardens. It's only going on for a limited time here for a few more weekends. So you definitely want to find out about it, by listening to our podcast. It's Chadd and Kristi's Theme Parks and Recs, which you can listen to from our website, or you can even download it in iTunes. And also you can visit buschgardens.com to get the whole scoop and to get your tickets, because now is the perfect time to go over and experience all the fun of Busch Gardens.